oftentimes, okay, so hopefully there's some sound that will be recorded with the visual presentation in regards to this episode speaking about hex removal. If there is not a visual presentation, it's because of something going on with the sound. Okay, so we're going to proceed with hex removal. Um, but I really prefer that you go on my podcast, which is on Spreaker.com, and look up. I have 5 podcasts. Well, Spiritual Sense being the one that I record on the most. Um, just go on Spreaker.com, put in Spiritual Sense, and you will see my podcast. You can listen to my podcast. Now, if it just so happened that you prefer visual presentation, if one is available for that day, okay, then you can, because a lot of times, I do tarot card reading as well, so a lot of times people would need to see the actual cards. You may not necessarily want to see me, and I do aspire to get a selfie stand. I had bought one, a little cheap one, but I think I'm gonna invest in a more economical one to where I don't have to be on camera at all. I just haven't had the time to. I priced a couple of them, but I will be in the future. Okay, so you can actually see what I'm doing as I'm, presenting the cards and things of that nature with that. Okay. So, anyways, so the topic for today is hex removal. Number one, what is a hex? I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in regards to a hex. A lot of people would tell you that hexes are not real, jinxes are not real, curses are not real. That is so far from the truth. I do believe a lot of it is in the mind. If you give power to it, that does not necessarily mean that it does not exist. Okay, um, but they are real. They are. Um, Hex, cast a spell on bewitch. So, another definition says a magical spell or a curse. These things do occur. You may not refer to it as that, but they are real. I did my tarot card reading recording earlier, and I said I felt as though someone needed to hear, as well as see the presentation that I did with my tarot card reading for today. I mentioned that I felt as though someone was under a hex was put towards this person. That's what I felt, and I said that I felt as though it was coming from by way of a spirit related job field, and I gave a suggestion that I felt as though the person needs to break away. May not necessarily be from the actual career or what have you, but that actual job or perhaps location. You definitely need to move away from that place because I feel a lot of negative energy. I'm sensing a lot of negative energy around. And I'm not one of those type of people that try to tell you something so I can get it. No, that's not my style. Or not want to see you succeed. I do want to see you succeed. I want you to be very successful. However, you're going to realize that everybody doesn't feel that way. They can smile in your face and act as though they are concerned, and God will put it in you that they're not. That's what I'm getting at. Okay? So, we are on a website. It's called spiritualgreatness.com. Oftentimes when I go on these websites, it's on the account of someone's opinion, and I try not to read everything verbatim, but I use it as a guide, and then I give you my synopsis based on how I are able to overcome a hex or a jinx, because it do occur. They are real, whether you want to give power to them or not. They are real. Oftentimes I can pick up the energies from my children. or what have you. God will put it in you to where you'll know where it's coming from. You know, I can pick up when they are under an attack. And right now, my son is under attack. So typically, when that occurs, I have to get my guns out, so to speak. You know, that means I have to go back and do some things that worked in the past because, you know, as we all would know, some things will become stale. So you need to incorporate some things back and to get back to the basics. Sometimes you have to go back to the basics. So let's get to it. Okay, so let me make sure I'm still recording, and I am. So again, what is a hex or a curse? I have a um definition in terms of hexes and curses. I think curses are something that is like long standing versus a hex, you know, may not. Okay? So you may have a, you know, stroke of bad luck that occurs here and there. A curse is when it is long standing, is what I feel. That's what I feel. But this person here mentions that the term curse and hex tends to describe the same thing. So hex sometimes are seen as something more short term with more limited impact. A curse is seen as something more major that may, you know, happen for years, an entire life, passed down through generations. Now, I do believe that. That's my account on the difference between a curse versus a hex. You know, I think in the situation that I mentioned when I did my tarot card reading, I said I felt as though someone was under a hex. Don't feel as though it's a curse because I haven't got that deep into your circumstances to know. But I said that I felt as though someone was under a hex. That has transpired about October, so to now, and I think it's beginning to, you know, dissipate. I think you know, as I mentioned before, the latter part of the year is the witching season, is what I mentioned. And by way of the witching season, you will begin to see how certain energies, negative energies, presents to you. So how do you break a curse or a hex? What things can you do to break a curse or a hex? And this is what this person's account is. So I'm going to relate that. It says create a decor. You can take your place and transfer a curse into it. So it says it might be something simple as an egg, or it might be more complicated like a doll with your hair or some personal effects. So once you create a decor and transfer the curse into it, you can destroy it, burn it, and smash it, and leave it to rot. So again, you know, some people say, like, say for instance, if someone gives you something, you gotta be very careful when someone gives you something, because if it has bad intentions, you won't keep it long or bring ill will to you. But I have heard that if you give it to someone else, that it won't affect them because the intent was not intended for them in the first place. Now I've heard that, so that could be a situation in terms of what this is talking about, burying it. It says so it mentions that some people trap their curse in a bottle and buried it in the ground or a jar. And so concentrate on your feelings of being cursed. It says slowly wrap a string around the neck of the jar or bottle and repeat any curse that has been placed unto me. I return deep into the earth for each knot that I tie in the string. Take my bad luck and make it good. Is what it mentions. It says once this is done, dig a hole in your yard somewhere that the bottle won't be disturbed and bury it. You can leave the jar buried in the ground indefinitely, or if you prefer, you can dig it up after 7 days, smash it, and carefully discard of the broken glass. So it said use of a mirror spell, what it has here. Um, this spell will only work if you know the person that cursed you. Take a picture of them, print it out, and get the photo, and you can write their name on a piece of paper. But preferably a photo is what it mentions. You place the photo in a box with mirrors. Place all on the, with mirrors placed all on the side. Within a look, it should reflect the curse back onto them and away from you. Is what it mentions. Now that's what it mentions about mirror spell. It also mentions about Christian beliefs. It said God says in the Bible that He will curse those that curse you. So it mentions Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Genesis 12:3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So, it mentions that in the name of Jesus, to break curses or curses that cast upon you and your family, and remove the influence of sorcery, witchcraft, psychic powers, or any other occult influences that have been placed on you. You can disconnect yourself from any evil spirits, demons, and other negative spiritual forces that are currently having influence on you. So I'm going to explain something to you. Oftentimes when people speak against psychic power and sorcery, witchcraft, and things of the sort, of course you want to in other words, that's the ability to see beyond. So of course, if a person is doing something that is not favorable, or that's out of sync with what its desires are, do you think they're going to say anything that's going to come against it? No. So of course they're going to tell you to not have psychic powers. In other words, to not see me for my demonic and my transgressions. Of course they're going to say that. Okay? So you got to have some critical thinking in terms of what is being conveyed by way of when they say curses, because oftentimes the enemy does not like to be exposed. So you'll begin to see that. Now again, I mentioned about healing powers of herbs. Hyssop, sage, and rue are particularly well known for use in the breaking magic curses and traditional medicines and magic, as is salt and frankincense. So these things are used to cleanse your aura, your area, to prevent those who come against you, to try to take and steal from you and capitalize off of you. It says try a natural water source. A herbal bath will help as well. You want to get in the bath and you want to begin to submerge yourself in this bath by way of these herbs as well, will be very powerful for healing the mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so it mentions that how long will it take for a curse to be broken? It says that a full moon cycle, 28 days, is what it mentions. Curses are revelations. I'm going to just put it out there. You will begin to see that curses and hexes are revelations to you. This is God's way of giving you understanding about when you think everybody agrees with you, when you think everybody is for you, and you have to go through the storm by way of these hexes for it to be apparent to you. Because some people are very limited in their thought and understanding about the realism of what is out there. So sometimes it takes them being knocked off of their feet for them to get it. It's just that simple. So I'm going to pull up this website here, which mentions the 5 best ways to uncross yourself and remove a hex. Number 1, take a bath. Bath is cleanliness. Anything that is of God and light and clarity and pureness is going to be cleansing. Anything that is not, desires not. So a ritual bath is one of the best ways to send back malevolent magic. Just take a regular bath or shower, and also wash your hair. Get. I mentioned use rosemary. Put some rosemary in your shampoo, and see won't it manifest for you. Take a regular bath or shower, scrubbing yourself clean as you normally would. So you want to do a bath salt, conditioned bath salt, Hex Removing bath salt, or uncrossing herb bath. Get the water, sit, picturing it, completely removing all the effects of the curse. So when you're done, allow yourself to air dry, dispose of the water by throwing some of it over your left shoulder towards the sun is what it mentions. You can also make your own bath by combining sea salt with rosemary or other cleansing, hex-breaking herbs. So it mentions that, if it's a stubborn curse, I think that would be by way of a hex. So if it's a curse, something that has been repetitively going on, you may have to continue to repeat these herbal baths and such on a more consistent basis. Now let me hurry up because I got about 8 minutes. So use a lemon. Lemon is very good as well. You take a lemon, cut it in half, put you some sea salt. Now I'm gonna tell you something. You can call this whatever you want to call it, but when I tell you the lemon works, and this is hands down. This ain't no make believe. Me just running my mouth. No, the lemon works. I don't know if it's the the fragrances or the color of the lemon, but it elevates your mood. It does. Wash it away. Your home is a target for dark magic too. So if you feel that you have been hits, the first thing you should do around for any powders, jars, or other signs that someone has tried to work a curse on your home, you open up the windows. You want to clean, sweep, and vacuum, mop, and get you a curse-breaking floor wash. So a lot of times people, it is a way to get you to clean up and can clean up consistently. Yes. But why are these things occurring in the first place? Typically, if you are a clean person and these things are occurring, that is by way of a curse or a jinx that has been placed upon you. Smoke it out. It says some weak evil magic can be sent away with smoke. So you can burn blue sage, mugwort, or sweetgrass in a fireplace dish or abalone shell and stand where the smoke can blow over you. The negative energy will be carried away by the smoke. Make sure to pay special attention to corners, closets, and doors. In your smudging ritual at the front door and open the door to let all negativity out. You can also use a selenite wand to help pull the dark energy away while you do this. Either sweep it over yourself a few inches above your skin, or sweep it over the walls and corners of your home to cleanse the curse away. Burn it away. Candle spells are simple but effective. They can store whatever energies you want inside of them and either release it or destroy it. To remove a curse or a crossed condition, set up a safe place where a candle can burn for a while. Then take a choice of candle, a hoodoo pillow candle, a 7-day candle, or a spell breaker breaker candle, dress it up, and with some gents removing oil. Hold the candle in your hands and picture the cursed energy being absorbed and destroyed. Light the candle and allow it to burn. As the candle shrinks, the curse's power will weaken until it's gone. Bury the remains of the candle far away from your home. Okay? So, those are some things that you can do to help assist you with removing of a hex or a curse or what have you. These things do work, but it does take consistency. I'll be one to admit. It does. That means you have to set out, if you can, set out get your calendar and set out a weekly or even a daily. Do something every day. Find something that to help with your spiritual growth and your spiritual protection that you can set out and do every day, whether it's 5-10 minutes. Then set out something that you can do every week. Then set out something that you can do every month or even quarterly, and see one at work and manifest for you. And I also suggest incorporating Florida water into that as well. Okay. So I'm going to conclude this episode on spiritual sense, speaking about hex removal. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.